What's going on, everybody? American Football Network here with another video today. And today we are bringing you guys our 2024 NC State preview prediction video. But before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment those thoughts and opinions down below. Let me reach that goal of 1,400 subscribers by the end of July. Check out the description for links to our shop, podcast, website, Patreon page, and our college football roundup channel. We do that with the football expert. But let's go ahead and get started with today's video. So today we have NC State Wolfpack. Last year they went 9-4 overall, 6-2 in the ACC. Only 2 losses in the regular season. 3 losses in the regular season. Went 9-3 in the regular season. Lost to Notre Dame in week 2, 45-24. Lost to Louisville at home, 13-10, and lost at Duke, 24-3. They also lost to Kansas State in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, 28-19. But a good season for NC State. They lose a lot off of last year's team. Only returned 5 starters offense, 6 starters offensively, 3 starters defensively, and they lose the big man. They lose the big man on defense and Peyton Wilson. Bring in a new quarterback though, Grayson McCall, senior transfer from Coastal Carolina. I think that is an upgrade right there for NC State. I like that move a lot to go out and get him. They bring back arguably the best all-purpose player in the ACC last year, Casey Concepcion. I think he's going to have a huge season this year for the Wolfpack. Defensively, they don't really bring back much. They bring back cornerback Aiden White, linebacker Devin Betty, and defensive end Davin Van. And that is all that they return as far as the starters go defensively. Is they will have a lot to replace. But Dave Doran typically has a very physical, pretty solid defenses. So I expect nothing less from them this year. I still expect them to be a solid unit. They bring in some pretty solid recruits. Their top recruit, 4-star wide receiver Terrell Anderson. I expect him to get some pretty solid playing time this year. You look at offensive tackle Trent Mitchell, 4-star as well. Duke Scott, running back, 4-star, and Elijah Groves, 4-star linebacker to round out their top 4 recruits there. So they do bring in some solid talent. When you look at them overall in the ACC in terms of recruits, they brought in Terrell Anderson was the 7th best recruit coming into the ACC this year, as Miami and Clemson pretty much swept this whole list away. Miami had the number 1 recruiting class in the ACC this year, but NC State coming in at 5th, 29th overall, so solid year recruiting for them. But let's go ahead and jump in to the schedule for NC State as we predict what we have them going this year. So they start out week 1 against Western Carolina. I have this game down as a win. I don't think this game really needs much discussion. If they don't win this game, then they've got some bigger problems. I expect a win here. Then week 2, you get a big matchup in Charlotte against Tennessee. I do have this game down as a loss. I think that Tennessee is just a bit of a better football team. I think that Nico is going to have a great season with the Volunteers. I don't think Tennessee loses quite as much in terms of production as NC State does. I think that early in the season, Tennessee will be the better football team. Now, had this game be played in November, I might have it going the other way. But played here, I just think Tennessee is going to be a little bit too much. I think they'll have things worked out a little bit better than NC State will. And I have a win for the Volunteers, so a loss for NC State. Week 3, they face Louisiana Tech at home. I have this game as a win. Not really a game that I think they need much discussion on. They have more talent than Louisiana Tech. And at the end of the day, that is what wins the football game. So with Western Carolina and Louisiana Tech, two good games to try and work out some kinks. You'd like those two together back to back instead of Tennessee in the middle. But Still, two very good games to kind of work some stuff out offensively. Because in your first four games, you play your two biggest games of the season. In week four, you go on the road to Clemson. I have this game as a loss. I just think the Tigers are better. Clemson kind of gave that game away to NC State with turnovers and stuff last year on the road. I think that this year at home, the Tigers are gonna outlast and outduel the Wolfpack. I think NC State is going to put up a heck of a fight. I think it's going to be a great game, but I think late third quarter, early fourth quarter, you may start to see Clemson pull away a little bit, and I think Clemson wins anywhere from like 7 to 13 points in the end. Then NC State matches up against NIU. I have this game as a win again, much like Louisiana Tech and Western Carolina. Not much really needed in terms of discussion on this game. Once again, NC State is just the better football team, and they'll win the football game. Then they get Wake Forest at home. I have this game as a win. Wake Forest has come a long, long, long ways from where they were that last year, Sam Hartman, and I think they're just going to continue to go down. Not a big fan of Wake Forest this year. I think NC State is going to beat them pretty easily. They beat them by 20 last year, 26-6. I think it could be more than that again this year. Just like I said, not a big fan of Wake Forest. I think this NC State team is much more talented. They got better weapons on the outside, better defense, better quarterback. Most importantly, I think NC State will dominate this whole game. Then they get Syracuse at home. This could be a potentially sneaky game, potential tough game. I think Syracuse is going to have a pretty good season this year, but I think NC State's going to come away with the win in this game. I just think NC State has too much. They'll have the better quarterback in the game, in McCall, and they'll have the best receiver in the game, and Casey Concepcion. And the biggest thing when I look at Syracuse is I don't know how they're going to contain this guy. He can line up in the backfield. He can line out wide at receiver. And then a guy who we failed to talk about before the schedule, we got into the schedule, Jordan Waters at running back. I don't know how they're going to contain him either. A transfer from Duke. When you mix in all the things Concepcion can do, and then you throw in the fact that you have an elite top three running back in the league, back there as well, it's going to be difficult to stop. And I just don't know if Syracuse is going to be able to do that. I trust NC State's defense in this game more than I trust Syracuse defense to get a key stop. Then you go on the road to Cal, taking the trip cross country. I have this game as a win. I think Cal may end up being the worst team in the ACC. Stanford may be right below them, maybe Boston College, but yeah, just not a big fan of Cal. I think that NC State's just a better team all the way around. Better coaching, quarterback, offensive line, defensive line, all the things that are the main factors in winning football games. NC State does better than Cal and has better than Cal. Then you get a bye week. Finally, let's see, you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games into the season before you get your first bye week. A lot of teams, I think most people have two. Some of them earlier in the year for some people, but after 8 games, finally get a bye week, and you face Stanford at home. Like I just said with Cal, Stanford may be the worst ACC team this season. I don't think NC State's going to have any trouble with them, especially coming off the bye week. Got an extra week to lock in your focus on Stanford. I just don't see a way that NC State loses this game unless there's just some kind of injuries that are unforeseen. Hopefully none of that happens. But that's really the only way that I see Stanford winning this game. I don't see it. Then NC State will play Duke at home. I have this game as a win. I just don't think Duke's going to be what they were last year. They lose their quarterback, their running back, their coach, a lot of pieces defensively and offensively. They lose a lot. Now, they do get Malik Murphy and transfer from Texas. Very good quarterback. You have Manny Diaz as your head coach, a great defensive coordinator, although he didn't do too well in Miami as a head coach. But I think at Duke, a little bit of a smaller scale, I think it'll be better for him. And I expect Duke to be a solid team. I think that they'll have a pretty good season. But, I think that NC State is clearly the better football team, and they're going to get a win in this one. Then another bye week. Then you close out the season with two tough road games on the road at Georgia Tech. I have this game as a loss. I think NC State trips up to another ACC team in here somewhere, and Georgia Tech's a team that I think knocks them off. Big fan of Brent Key and what he's building down there with the Yellow Jackets. I think Georgia Tech is becoming a strong player in the ACC. Each and every year they're getting better and better, and I think this year that they're going to have enough to knock off NC State and pull off the upset at home. Then the Wolfpack travel on the road to North Carolina. This will be the rivalry game, and I have this game as a win for NC State. I just outside of Amari and Hampton and J.J. Jones, Oklahoma really doesn't have much. Excuse me, North Carolina really. I don't know why I said Oklahoma. North Carolina really doesn't have much offensively. I mean, Pace Hour's all right, Blackwell's all right, but I'm not sure if I'm a believer in Connor Harrell or not. Not a huge fan of his, and the defense always will be and always has been a huge question mark for this North Carolina team under Mac Brown, and I don't see that changing. I think it's still going to be a big question mark. I don't see that defense being able to slow NC State's offense down whatsoever. I think that they'll tear them up, and like I said, with I believe it was in the Syracuse game. I forget which game I was talking, but I trust NC State's defense to get stops more than I trust this North Carolina defense to get key stops. And to me, that's what the difference in the football game is going to come down to. That in quarterback play, I think Grayson McCall will outplay Connor Harrell by a pretty significant margin, and I think that will be the difference in the game. But that wraps up the 2024 schedule for NC State. I have them officially going 9-3 overall, with two losses in the ACC. So we appreciate all of you guys watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Comment those thoughts and opinions down below. Once again, we appreciate everybody tuning in, and we hope to see you guys next time.